Is it possible when Donald Trump tweets on Truth Social to see that beforehand on the charts? On Friday I had such a situation. Nasdaq was making a new all-time high, and then all of a sudden Donald Trump was just posting another thing about the Iran conflict again, and the markets just collapsed. And after that just ended up in huge volatility spikes up and down. So welcome to my channel STB Trading. My name is David. And today in this video I would like to walk you through what happened to me on Friday, and if you can figure out or see beforehand a post of Donald Trump if you should stay in the market or better get out. As you can see in the background, this is my little setup that I have here. So I'm trading with 4 monitors, and yeah, let's jump into the markets and watch some replays of Friday's session. Alright guys, let's take a look at the charts. We can clearly see Nasdaq made new all-time highs in the last couple of days and weeks. We have all higher highs and higher lows, and it just was extremely bullish, an extremely bullish uptrend. And even until last week, as we can see here, Nasdaq was continuing to make new all-time highs. And on last Friday, again, we are about to see here a huge spike up. And let's take a look at it, what that actually meant last Friday. So the market is about to open. Let's take a look at a different chart. Alright, now when we take a look at the 5-minute chart and also the footprint, so at the moment we can see that Nasdaq just opened. So we had a huge spike up, but again there was massive buying and selling going on. We can see a massive fight between buyers and sellers. At first it looked like it might not be able to push up, but then it first pushed up with the first 5-minute candles, and let's see how it continues. As it got pushed down again and retested our entry, basically this was more or less our breakout area, I have decided to place a long trade and enter into a long. So after this candle finished, over here we saw first a little bit of absorption on the downside, but then it got all bought up back again. So after this candle closed, let's see what happens. Again, we have here a massive fight going on between buyers and sellers. When I saw this over here, I decided to jump in and I went for a long trade. Again, market continued to fight, and it was a little bit of a risky trade. However, what I can see here, the CVD was trying to push higher. I mean, it didn't make a new higher high, unfortunately, but I think it was worth the risk. With a good stop loss, I thought I'd take the chance. But anyway, what we can clearly see, price was definitely struggling, and there was a lot of things going on between buyers and sellers. And even if we continue watching this uptrend, we can also still see how buyers and sellers were fighting. So again, we can see absorption. However, we still have positive delta over here, which gave me more confidence and which made me believe that we might even push higher today. So we have here the next open, and again this is a replay, and the replay is on 5x, so it's just for us, so for learning purposes, that we can see what actually happened on Friday. We could see some weakness as the price constantly got pushed down again, but somehow it managed to further go up, and we also got some more confidence over here as we look at the CVD. The CVD is the cumulative volume delta, and it is trying to push out here and make new all-time highs or make new higher highs, which is in our favor, obviously. But again, constantly before the close of the candle, it continued to push lower or below here our VPOC, our volume point of control. And as well, what we can see here, actually, we only have a positive delta of 109. So the volume is just slowly higher. So the buying volume is just a little bit higher than our selling volume. So let's see how it continues. Again, market continues to fight. It's going back and forth. It's going back and forth. However, at this point, I already put my stop loss at break even. So therefore, I couldn't lose anymore. And I was in a very good position. Let's continue and see what is going to happen. We know already we have an uptrend, however, it looks a little bit weak. And also what is very important for me, I took a look at the volume. And I don't have the volume here on this chart, but I have it on a different monitor. And here again, we see clearly we have a huge volume spike, which is definitely in our favor. But now we just want to see what's going to happen next. If we're going to see another higher volume, or if we see approximately the same volume, or what is going to happen. All right. But as you can see here, we have the first struggles of the price. And at this point, I already thought to myself, maybe I better want to take profit. And as you can clearly see, the price is even harder struggling. And even though we made here a higher high in our CVD, but it looks like it might happen that some selling volume is going to come in. However, price looks like it continued to push higher. So let's see how it goes. Yeah, so at this point, I just continue to stay in my position and I waited. All right, so again, here now we can see that we have more sellers coming in. We have our CVD also going lower. And again, if we look at our volume, we can also clearly see that our volume is, let's see, we are still a little bit early. But I think the next 30-minute candle is about to open. And as soon as the next 30-minute candle opens, the market starts to push down and it doesn't look like it is going to make higher volume. But again, so far I still stayed in my trade. I wanted to see and wait until this candle closes. We can see negative delta. So yeah, I think as soon as this candle closed, I decided to close out my trade and just call it a day and take my profit and walk away. Also here we can see more and more or higher and higher spikes, but prices always gets pushed down and pushed up again, but the spikes are increasing. So this is another sign maybe of exhaustion and a lot of volatility, a lot of buying and selling going on. So yeah. However, I still was in a very comfortable position as I had my stop taken, as I had my stop put at break even. So nothing to worry about. At least we couldn't lose anymore. Yep. All right, let's see how it continues. Let's see for the candle close. We still have a few more minutes, I assume. And at the moment, still everything looks bullish. There it comes. So here it comes. This is the moment where I see that we definitely have absorption and I decided that I want to close out. I want to take my profit. So no matter what happens, even if it goes higher, because it just didn't look as juicy anymore as it did before. And again, here we had the open of the next 30-minute candle. Volume is very low. I know it's just the beginning of the candle. However, it just doesn't look very nice at this point. All right, and then it didn't take much longer, and then Donald Trump just started to tweet. As you can see over here, another tweet on Iran. Iran must agree that they will never have a nuclear weapon or bomb or whatnot, and all kinds of stuff about the Strait of Hormuz and so on. Yeah, and that was at that point when the market just decided, oh right, it's time to dump. And the market just made a massive reversal. So again, I mean, this is not the best prediction tool, but at least from the volume and from what has been going on in the footprint, we could clearly see that the market is not as strong as it appears to be. And as Donald Trump even tweeted on top of that, yeah, I mean, it is a little bit of a pre-indicator, the market sometimes, of what is going to happen. Can it always predict what is going to happen? Obviously, it cannot, but maybe it can help at least to some degree to give us a little bit of a additional tool, like some kind of an indicator that can help us to at least close out our profits, or to at least give us an indication when we should stay out and when we should stay in. So yeah, let's continue watching. And as you can see, the market just pushes down and pushes lower and lower, as it didn't take the news very lightly, or didn't like the news that much. Alright, so this was a little bit of a trade recap from my trading session on Friday in Nasdaq, where Nasdaq made a new all-time high. I hope you liked it. I hope you could learn something from it. And if you like this channel, if you like my videos, please hit a like and subscribe, and also leave a comment down below. I really would appreciate it. And also add me on my Instagram. Alright, thanks for watching, and see you for the next video.